I guess I'll just talk a little bit too.
So my name is Emma Garner. I work for the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife as a fish biologist. I've been a fish biologist since I graduated college in 2010. I went to Oregon State University and I studied fisheries and wildlife, but I didn't study fish. I grew up exploring the outdoors, running around in fields, finding snakes, finding bugs, playing in creeks and raising frogs. And I had this deep emotional connection to our environmental world and the ecosystems around me. So when I went to college, I studied the habitats, so that vegetation and wildlife and all the species that live in and around streams is what I studied when I went to school. And at one point, I had the opportunity to work for Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife studying salmon, adult salmon on the coast. And I took that job because salmon are part of that stream ecosystem and a big part of our streams in Oregon, and I fell in love with fish. So I have been working with fisheries since 2011, and I've worked with salmon, I've worked with tiny little minnows, great big salmon that are this big, sometimes bigger. I've worked with lamprey, which are kind of eel-shaped fish, and I've worked all over the Willamette Valley.
All right.
Is there anything else you want me to touch on with it?
I guess, no, I just maybe, that's good. Actually.
I guess what I do now for ODFW, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. So when I first started working with fish, I was hired to help answer questions. So the questions that we were asking were, how healthy are our fish? Where do our fish swim to and where do they live? What streams do our fish reproduce in, and how healthy are our streams for those fish? And so I hiked through streams and I hiked through the woods, and I took down data, I took down numbers to talk about how many fish I was seeing, how many wild and hatchery fish I was seeing, how healthy the streams were, if they had bedrock and no habitat for spawning salmon, or if they had lots of tiny pebbles and great habitat for salmon. And through that journey, I really fell in love with the explanation of why the natural world and our natural resources are important, and why we care about these things, and why they matter to our big picture, whether we live close to them or not. So after many years of answering questions, I moved on to a part of ODFW where I bring members of the communities with me to help look at those questions and to help talk about those answers. So now I still work with fish, but I work with fish and people. And so we get to interact, we get to share our experiences, and we get to bring people together. A lot like the Eggs to Fry program, where I come to hatcheries and pick up a bunch of eggs and deliver them to students and deliver them to classrooms so they can help us answer questions about salmon and their development as well.
So great. Well, thanks, Emma.
Yeah.
And, I look forward to talking to you again sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks.